So God was putting all this constellation thing. And it says, canst thou bound the sweet influence of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring Mazzaroth in the season? Or can you guide Arcturus with his sons? These are all stars. And knows the ordinance of heaven. Canst thou set dominion the earth for of the earth? So, what is the message in the stars? Can the stars speak? Hallelujah. It seems so according to a New Testament verse. And this is Paul saying, how then can they call on the one they have not believed in? How can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? How can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. And here's the thing. But now all Israel accepted the good news, for Isaiah says, Lord, not all Israelites. So who has believed our message? Consequently, and this is the verse that we keep always hanging on. Faith must come from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word of Christ. But Paul adds, but I asked, did they not hear? Speaking of the people in the past. Of course they did. Did somebody preach already to those? Before Paul started to preach about Jesus dying on the cross, because Jesus now rose from the dead. And then Paul quotes, their voice has gone out into all the earth. Their words to the ends of the world. That means that there's a voice already that already spoke, right? And the words already has been given to the ends of the world. That means the whole world has heard, because there was a voice, according to this quotation. Where did this quotation come from? Paul quoted from the Old Testament, Psalms 19. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they display knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. And then the quotation is there. Their voice goes out to all the earth, their words to the end of the world. So they heard. They heard the gospel message through the stars. Apparently, if you ask me, I tend now to begin that the people of the past were more intelligent than we are.
Yes.
That they would be able to read the names of the stars. They would be able to know, and they would be able to know the message of the gospel, and they can read it in the stars. It seems like Paul points to this, and what is the voice? That is the declaration of the heavens, the glory of God. And here's another verse in Hebrews, the sun is the radiance of God's glory, and the exact representation. God's glory, again, if you use Bible to explain it, is something about the heavens which declares Christ, because the heaven declares the glory. So what is this glory? The radiance. So here's the sun, which is Jesus. He has been declared in the heavens. Okay? So look at the fourth line, Psalm, night after night they display knowledge. Night after night. So every night this message is being heard. Day after day they pour forth speech. So every day, every night. Lotiliseria bla, memorize mo na, kabalo ka na. Because that's what you look at every night. So what knowledge? It seems like hearing the word of the message of Christ. And Romans 1:18 says, the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all godlessness. Verse 24, since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power, divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood, because they pour forth knowledge from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. Kita naman nga kaya natulisir, yan nga lang, ito gabi-gabi. Hindi mo lang nabalanta. Kung sila yan, stars din, every night, yun na lang, so they begin to know the message of the gospel. And Colossians 1:23, if you continue your faith established and firm and do not move from the hope held out in the gospel, this is the gospel that you heard that has been, tapos na, proclaimed to every creature under heaven, and of which I, Paul, have become a servant. What happened to us? How come we can't read this anymore? The stars. Abraham had no children, remember? And he was worried and he was talking to God. In Genesis chapter 13, he speaks about that. I will make you, he heard from the Lord that I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that everyone could count the dust and your offspring could be counted. And And no longer will you be called Abram, but you will be Abraham, for I have made you the father of many nations. So we're going to look at the word offspring because that's also being used in the New Testament, and Paul quotes that. And it speaks about that from Abraham. Okay? So after this, the word of the Lord came to Abraham in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abraham. I am your shield, you're very great you are. But Abraham said, oh, sir, Lord, wala di kuya bata yan. Sabi na po, hatag lang kay Elisha, ang akong mga manggan. Then the word of the Lord came to him, Visayan version. This man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir. And then look at what God did. He took him outside and said, look up at the heavens and count the stars. If indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. And then Abraham believed the Lord and he credited to him as righteousness. Hold on. Kadasid lang dulpo yan ng righteousness sa Abraham. Because God just took him outside and then count the stars and then righteousness yan. What did Abraham believe? Why did God have to bring him outside? What did God show him? And that's what I believe, that the Lord showed him something, and that is what Abraham believed. Alright, so you're following me now? So it's not just merely because Abraham believed God and he became righteous. Abraham, remember, no one is saved without hearing the message. And the message is the Word of God. So he has to hear the gospel message in order to be saved and to be accounted as righteous. So this is my thesis. So I'll try to prove to you that God took Abraham out and showed him the stars and showed him the whole story of the stars, that it starts with a virgin birth, and the son will be born and shall be righteous, and he will be, and the scorpion will bite in his heel, and then he will come as a raging bull, and he will come to become like a lamb to be offered as a sacrifice, and he will come again to become the Lion of Judah, and so on and so forth. And that is what God counted the stars, narrated to him just like a scroll, like a book. I will show you that later, the connection. And then Abraham believed the story. That's why he thought that when he had Isaac, that was already the virgin birth, because the wife was dead, as in like menopause twice. Like no more mattress, no more weight, no more ovary, whatever. She was 90 years old. So she was good as dead. That's why he really believed that this is the son, this is the Messiah, and this is Isaac. And he saw the story of the sacrifice, that he will be sacrificed. That's why Abraham was so easy to say, go sacrifice Isaac for me. That's why he really took it, because he really believed that this was the Messiah who would save the world. And that's why he was going to slaughter, because he saw the story of the gospel. Are you following? Hallelujah. Then when the Lord tells Abraham to count the stars, here's the word count. Okay, we swiftly go down now because for the sake of the last line in the Hebrew, the word which becomes count in English is kafar, which means to score, to mark as a tally, to record, to inscribe. So it's not only count as in arithmetic, but it is like to inscribe. There's a record in there that you reckon with, or it's like reference to a book or a scroll. Okay?